Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tea, Tim Tams, and Travel with me, Nabil from Rahala, and Elena, the Muslim travel girl. Elena, how's things today?
Assalamu alaikum, Nabil. Good. I'm enjoying another Team Time and Travel session. I'm looking forward to them like daily. It's so good.
I've run out of penguins, so I have no more. I have no more Tim Tam to use with my tea. But we still got plenty of tea, so we're good.
We've got plenty of tea. I'm glad to have these big bags. I went to the supermarket. I'm like, I need one of these big tea bags.
Yeah, 280 tea bags. I mean, you would think it would last you a while, but
not these days.
No, not these days.
Ramadan's gonna help shortly, though.
I'm sure it will. 3 weeks to go. 3 weeks to go, inshallah. So today's guest is Amin from Noor Kids. I love having this guy on. He's full of energy, and obviously Noor Kids is so well known around the world now. Amin, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing awesome. Counting my blessings. Also now I'm counting my tea bags to appreciate how many I have.
Exactly.
Now the thing is, in America, if there's ever too many tea bags, we have what's called the tea party, and we throw them into the Boston Harbor.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a U.S. English joke.
Just let them float over. You know, we're not going to talk about the lovely people of Boston, who I had the pleasure of.
Nabil's like, we're trying to gain subscribers. We're not trying to lose subscribers. I mean, like, let's not alienate anybody.
Well, if you leave me to talk for a little bit longer, we'll lose the whole of Boston. Right?
Well, no, it's an absolute treat to be a part of this. And, I'll tell you, on a day like today when I am in my office and, haven't been able to leave, my office and home for 3 weeks now, thinking about travel, Allahu Akbar. It's like almost inappropriate. It feels a little bit haram. I don't know. Like, it's like, can we do this? Can we talk about travel? Is that okay?
It's a little bit of a sensitive topic right now. But we love to hear stories. So, I mean,
Alhamdulillah.
I mean, where was the last place you went to before the world went into lockdown?
Oh, man, so we travel a lot. So Allahu Akbar. Over the last year, I have taken like 64 flights, right? So it's like 32 things backwards and forwards. So the last place I went was New Jersey. And it was crazy because when I went to New Jersey, this was approximately 3 or 4 weeks ago. Of course, when I travel, it's not normally for like fun. It's because we're delivering Jummah khutbahs and we're doing programs and things like that. And I remember going to this community and it was for a Saturday night program. And when I landed on Friday, they said, hey, we've canceled the program. And I was like, oh man, that's too bad. And so I said, okay, well, I'm in New Jersey. Let's go to a coffee shop. Let's, grab some. They have Kashmiri chai in New Jersey. It's a delicacy here in the US. You don't find it. I think in the UK, you guys probably get it everywhere.
Yeah.
But in the US, yeah, that pink chai, man, you're lucky if you find it. And so I remember on Sunday, we had planned to do a program with 2 different weekend Islamic schools. And one of my friends, his name is Farouk, he's an epidemiologist. And he called me up and he said,
friends to have these days.
What's that?
A good friend to have these days.
Yeah, a good friend to have. Although, again, this was before lockdown. This is before anything. This was literally the week before all that happened. He calls me up and he says, Amin, where are you? I said, I'm in New Jersey. So what are you doing in New Jersey? I said, I'm going to a weekend Islamic school. He's like, are you trying to kill people? I was like, dude, Farouk, what are you talking about? He said, Amin, do you realize by having this event, you are putting children at risk and their parents and their grandparents? And I'm like, dude, Farouk, chill out. And then that's when I was like, Allahu Akbar, like, what's going on? And, I got to the event, I talked to the program. They're like, hey, we ourselves are doctors. This is fine, so on and so forth. We did the program, but lo and behold, literally the next day, the U.S. went on lockdown. It was like, look, everyone stay at home, no gatherings of more than 20 people. So anyways, that was my last trip. Again, you'll notice that there are still a lot of threads that are related to the coronavirus, unfortunately, but that was my last trip.
Or what's the sort of place to sort of get away from it all?
So where I get away from it all, Nabil, I think I wish I had a good answer to this. I would say a couple of things, Nabil. Number one is this, and I think this is probably the most important part. My dad, when he was 12 years old, his father passed away, and they grew up in Karachi, Pakistan. And so my dad would always tell me, like, the richest person he ever knew was the landlord. And so he thought to himself, someday I'm going to own real estate and I'm going to own property and I'm going to do it in the United States of America. And alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, my dad today is in the United States of America and he, owns property. Alhamdulillah. But because of that upbringing that my father had, where, he didn't have a dad basically growing up, and because of those circumstances, even as kids, Nabil, we didn't have a culture of taking a vacation. We just didn't, and even our circumstances were so, I think, difficult that, when people in high school used to go to like Mexico, in the US, a lot of people go to Mexico for like spring break, or they'll go to like the Bahamas, or they'll go somewhere nice. For us, it was like going into a van and like taking like a 4-hour road trip to like South Dakota or something like that, which, that would be equivalent in like the UK of going to like Birmingham. Like, who wants to go to Birmingham? No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. We're not trying to lose subscribers. I'm kidding. I've never even been to Birmingham.
I am actually from Birmingham.
Oh, okay. My bad. My bad. No, but
could have picked anywhere else in the UK, but never mind.
So at the end of the day, right? Like, we never really had that culture of like going on a vacation, and for better or for worse, right? Like, because that's the way I grew up. It's not. I would say it's not necessarily part of my personal culture to like take a vacation. It's not something I'm proud of. And inshallah, as our circumstances change and our, capability changes, I hope that we have greater means to take vacations in the future.
With the Noor Kids, I mean, during this lockdown, how is Noor Kids able to, bring a bit of enjoyment and education and interaction between both the kids and parents? I mean, I love the product. I think it's great. Maybe tell everybody a little bit about it and where it started off from.
So, thank you for saying that, Nabil. So we started Noor Kids at Harvard University about 7 years ago. So my background was not in children's anything. I used to do what's called corporate venture capital and mergers and acquisitions. So there's this really big company called General Mills. So in the UK, you guys are probably familiar with like Haagen-Dazs and like Cheerios and like Yoplait yogurt. So General Mills owns all of those. So I used to be part of the team that used to like buy and sell like small businesses as a part of it and grow and things like that. Alhamdulillah, was a lot of fun. And Nabil, this conversation's about to get real serious, all right? So like I kind of go from both extremes. So we're about to get serious, right? But and then we'll have some fun too. But so here's basically what happened. My older brother Muhammad, at the time, while I was doing M&A, he was doing his business school at Harvard. And as a part of their business school, you're supposed to find a problem that you are passionate about, right? So they say every business, the best businesses are ones where you find a problem that you're passionate about and you try to solve it. So for us growing up in Minnesota, and by the way, right, and this is something that's important for people to know, especially if you're not in the US, right? America's huge. It's like the size of Europe, right? So like Minnesota is like, one country, like where Germany is, and like Dallas, it's like where Italy is, and like, California is like where the UK is. Like, so it's quite spread out. Each of these places have their own culture. In Minnesota, I mean, not a lot of Muslims growing up. We're one of very few, right? And so we're really concerned because we ourselves had a really difficult time building pride in being Muslim. I mean, at one point, Nabil, I remember in high school, I bleached my hair blonde because I wanted to fit in. I don't want anyone to know I was Muslim. My mom, she'd come to my baseball games and she would cheer, but friends would tease her. They'd make fun of her because of her headscarf. And as a kid, I didn't know what to do. So I began telling her to pick me up 15 minutes after my baseball games were finished because I didn't want anyone to see my mom. I didn't want anyone to know that I was a Muslim. I wanted to fit in. And so we wanted to solve that problem. Now, alhamdulillah, being at Harvard, we had the ability to access researchers and academics, people who focused on this idea of self-confidence. And while there wasn't a lot of research on Muslim kids, there was a ton of research on Black kids, a ton of research on Latino kids, a ton of research on Jewish kids. And we were able to take some of that research and turn it into a curriculum or a pedagogy. Now, later on, we ended up gaining advisors, people like Sheikh Omar Suleiman and Sheikh Abdel Nasser Jangna, who, again, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but in the US, they're quite prominent. And we were able to kind of marry them together with the science of tarbiyah to create a at-home akhlaq building program, or an at-home character building program. Well, anyways, out of all of the people who entered into that entrepreneurship competition, Harvard picked us. And they gave us a check of like, I think it was like $5,000. And that was it. That was the only funding we ever got. And in the same way that people, you know, volunteer at their local weekend Islamic school, this became our voluntary effort. And then in 2016, when I was doing my MBA at Berkeley, which is a school in California, unfortunately, my mom passed away. And I'll tell you, that feeling, Nabil, is very similar to the feeling I'm having today with COVID-19, because when someone passes away that you're very close to, you begin to think about your own mortality. And you begin to think like, look,
Yeah.
a day is going to come when I am going to meet my maker. A day is going to come when I will be put 6 feet into the ground, and people will, you know, do their Sata Janaza, and they will leave, and I will be there with my maker. And when that happens, the question I thought to myself is, what matters? And for me, what I believe matters is purpose. And for my wife, who, mashallah, is my biggest blessing, she agreed. And so in 2016, we decided to work on Noor Kids full time. So today we have a team of about 15 people, some of the world's most amazing writers, creatives, illustrators, researchers who are producing Noor Kids, which is a monthly akhlaq building program. Our work is now in 250,000 homes across 25 countries. And right now you can try it at noorkids.com for $1. $1 is less than £1, okay? So it's pretty cheap, and it's free shipping. And right now we're doing a course. It's called Lion-Hearted Muslims. You know, look, again, I don't know when this is going to air, Nabil, and Allahu Alam, Allah knows best, but it appears that the next 4 to 8 weeks are going to be very challenging for the entire world. And it's likely that many of our boys and girls will have a grandma or a grandpa or an uncle or an aunt who gets sick. And these children, and by the way, it's not just children, even adults will begin asking questions like, well, why do bad things happen to good people? Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala test us? What happens in the hereafter? And so during this lion-hearted course, we're literally addressing each of these topics head on for 5 to 12-year-old children. And alhamdulillah, it's been a big blessing. So anyways, that's a long answer to a short question. So I like Thailand. I enjoy Thailand a lot. Yeah, that would be where I would go if I would go anywhere.
Thailand's good.
Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know about Thailand, so I studied abroad there for 6 months when I was in college. 1/3 of the population in Thailand is Muslim. And so your ability to get halal food is very easy. And at least in 2009, when I was there, the dollar goes very far. So, you know, for a couple $100 a day, oh man, you're living the good life.
It still does. I mean, we were just talking about this. With the foundation, we work with a couple of schools on a little island called Koh Yao Noi, which is just in the southern part of Thailand. So it's a place that's very close to our hearts. And you're right. You know, you'll be very surprised at how many communities are out there, and the kids that we work with out there are so engaged, and they live life like a kid. You know, they're always outdoors, but at the same time they work hard, they study hard. For people that's over in the UK, who might not know Noor Kids as well as guys in the US, what's the best way to get hold of Noor Kids products? And what would you recommend?
Yeah, so our website is noorkids.com. That's noorkids.com. And we also have a YouTube channel and an Instagram. You can check us out, Noor Kids. The cool thing about our YouTube right now is we do these like khutbahs for kids, which are really fun. And that's what this is. This is like our studio for doing khutbahs for kids. And so you can check that out on YouTube. You know, alhamdulillah, it's been something special because we started in the US and we started in Canada, and so alhamdulillah, all of our work has been focused on the US and Canada. Now here's what's fascinating. 4 weeks ago we made the decision, and it took a lot of time. We had to find a new warehouse, all this stuff, to make our work available internationally. So, and Allahu Akbar, like the unique thing was the timing, because alhamdulillah now, like, in the last, Nabil, in the last week, we've had essentially 20,000 families from the UK express interest in Noor Kids, which is really exciting. And for us, it's really great because our whole point is to serve, right? When we started in Minnesota, the problem was, how do we raise confident Muslim kids? We're worried about how are kids going to maintain confidence. But what we discovered, especially after growing in places like Qatar and in Pakistan, the problem was a little bit different. It was a cousin. It said, well, it wasn't, why are we confident in being Muslims? It's like, hold on, why am I Muslim to begin with? Right? Like, what do I get out of this faith? Like, for what reason would I decide to, for example, wear hijab? Or why would I decide to pray? Is that something I even want to do? And our books are literally designed to answer those questions. And so alhamdulillah, I take a lot of satisfaction in our ability to add value. And so for families that value this, noorkids.com, it's a great resource.
We'll have the URLs just below, whether you're watching on YouTube or Instagram. Please check them out. Like I said, I've actually only known them probably less than a year, but I love their story, love their background, and I'm sure that families all over the world will find.
And it's so much needed.
It is so much needed, so much needed.
Alhamdulillah. And I haven't known Nabil for that long either, but I'm looking to get to know him much better because he runs a travel organization. And I'm looking for the what do we call it, the hookup, right?
You got to come out to you got to come out to Thailand when we do that. That's the hookup.
Oh man, let's do it, dude. Let's do it. Let me know.
We'll do.
Inshallah, we can do some kids khutbahs from Thailand.
Amazing. That sounds so, honestly, that's an idea. That's a golden idea right there.
Alhamdulillah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. It's been great having you on. I'd like to just say a huge thank you for coming on board out of your busy day. And just to wrap up, we've got our winner from our Rihala competition to win a £100 travel voucher. And today's winner is Tasnia Ali. One of the team will be in touch with you soon with more info on that. So from myself, Elena, and Amin, thank you so much. And we'll see you again tomorrow.
Assalamu alaikum.